I don't know if if disrespected is the right term. I think it's tough, right? Because obviously it's tough getting to the game, and we all go through different things physically. So being out there and trying to put everything on the line for the team, and just trying to be available as I can. You wanna contribute, and obviously that didn't happen to the effect that I would have hoped. But I mean, it's things that you live and you learn from, right? At the end of the day, I was still there. I was able to contribute in some capacity, and I don't think that Coach Bowles had any malice in what he was saying.
Dave told us that you and him talked. You don't have to tell us what.
Yeah.
Do you feel better about things after having the one-on-one talk with
Yeah.
Dave Canales?
100%. I think we had a really, really good talk. It was very productive. And I think at the end of the day, we both see eye to eye on it. And I think that at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot better for the team moving forward. I feel comfortable with it. And now it's just just a matter of putting the work in and going and executing on them.
Chris, you were a game time decision because of your neck, and I know you said afterwards it's still probably not 100%. Did that factor into the game plan at all?
I don't know if it directly factored into it. I know for me, even though I was a game time decision, when I felt comfortable enough to go, it's let's lock in and let's give it our best shot, right? Y'all know me, I'm gonna go out there and give it my all. Run game, pass game. So it didn't impact my mind at all.
Are you happy with just the usage and the way they're using you right now?
I mean, I think anybody in my position, right, would leave a game with 0 catches. I don't know if they'd be too pleased with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just the competitor in me and and the competitor in anybody in this situation.
Dave said he kind of blamed himself. It's kind of it falls on him that he didn't get the calls in there for it.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough being in his position. I understand it's tough being an offensive coordinator, man. You got a lot of things on your plate. And all you can do is call the plays the best way that you can see it, right? And I think it's something that we all learn from. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes from here.
You think part of it's different volume from the slot to the outside?
One more time?
Part of it's different volume from the slot to the outside?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's just like a slot to the outside kind of deal. I think it's a completely different offense. And obviously we've had our growing pains and trying to develop the offense. It takes time to build the chemistry and to develop it over the course of the season. But just the overall scheme itself is way different, right? If you look at the previous couple of years, we were probably throwing the ball 40 or 50 times a game. I don't know if we've done that once this year. So just by sheer numbers, targets are definitely going to go down.
Right. And you look around the league, guys like James Waddle,
Mm-hmm.
some of these number 1B type guys.
Yep.
They're covering right around your production.
Yeah.
Is that something that obviously you want more, right? Everyone gets more, but are you cognizant of that?
To be honest, not really. I don't really be checking stats for other guys. I think everybody's different and everyone's situation is different. For me, I just look at it as just trying to be as productive as I can for the team, right? I think that when I'm being productive, I think it adds tremendous value to the team. I think it also makes life easier on Mike and makes life easier on Rashad, on Cade. I think it all plays a big role in the big picture. So for me, it's not necessarily just I want targets. It's I'm trying to be able to provide the most value that I can and that I know I can.
Chris, you typically play very well against the Falcons in the last 6 matchups. You have 55 yards or more. There's a lot of or more.
Yeah.
Is that something that just happens when you play a certain team, or is there sometimes certain favorable things that you see when you're playing them, or can you expand on that?
I think it probably is just more it just happens, right? And I feel you tend to see it happen more in division because you play them twice, right? You're a little bit more familiar with the team, and even though there's some tendency things that you have, right? It just kind of happens that way. I would say they did a really good job in the first game, right? They held us down pretty good. So it's going to be a good challenge for us to come away with a victory this time.
Even that stadium, you've had 2 of the biggest games of your career.
And that's it, yeah.
Do you like playing on the field?
It's a nice field. I think obviously it's a beautiful looking stadium, right? And it's indoors helps. But I don't know if that has to do with the production of the game. Sometimes the flow of it is just impacted by whether it's a game plan or or personnel or just how guys are feeling on a given day.
I feel like you and Dave's relationship is good moving forward from all of this, how the vibe is between.
Yeah, I've never had like any malice or like any like ill will towards Dave or Coach Bowles or Baker or like anybody. Like I think I have a really good relationship like with these people. All right, like they're all like we're all part of the team. Like I consider them, to be like close people to me. So now it's just like we're trying to figure out like how to move forward, right, and how to make this the best that we can make it, because that's all we want at the end of the day. Like we want to win and we want to go to the playoffs and then just keep it pushing.
Chris, I'm sorry I missed it at the beginning.
Sorry about that.
I missed it at the very beginning, but your wife posting that, was that something you were aware of? And do you have a discussion with her about that?
I think we talked about it like after the fact. Like obviously like Mariah, like that's my best friend. Like we've been together for what year are we in? It's 2023. For 11 years now,
Yeah.
right? And she's been my biggest supporter through the whole thing. And I think like I know that she's always going to support me. She's always going to have my back. So like naturally, like there's some frustration when things don't necessarily like go like how you would expect it, right? And I think that I think her intent of like the whole thing was just simply like it wasn't like a play count thing. Like that wasn't like the reason why why things didn't play out how we had hoped. And just like making sure that people understood like I work my ass off, which I do.
Right.
Like I work my ass off to make sure that I'm ready to play, to make sure that I'm able to give my best for my teammates and that I'm not like a liability out there. And like that was it. It came from a place of love, and like I always love her. Like that's my dog, and I'm always gonna have her back the same way she is with me.
When things aren't going well for players on the field, you kind of brought some light to that.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like for family members? When things aren't going well,
Yeah.
to whether it's lack of targets or like in your case, I know you're dealing with a neck injury. Just how does that weigh on family members?
I mean, I would imagine for everyone, it's very tough, right? Like they're there to support you through everything, but they have absolutely zero control over what happens. So it's not like they can just, like they can't will anything to happen for you. Like they can't. All they can do is just be there to support you. And obviously, like Mariah is the closest one to me. That's my person, and she sees it all. So like all of the pain, all of the things like that I go through, she's right there helping me through it. Like same thing with the successes. So she's obviously very invested in it. And like if you ask any other guys, whoever their closest person is, like they probably feel very similar ways.
Has the team said anything to you about her confidence?
No. I don't know. It's again like it's like I've had conversations with everyone like that I need to have conversations with, and I think like the point that comes out of all of it is like we're all good. Like again, like there hasn't been any like ill will or like anything between any of us. Like nobody's beefing. Like we're all great right now. Again, we're trying to figure out how to move forward and how to make it the best that we can for the team.
Feeling better?
Uh-huh.
Feeling better?
Physically, every day I'm getting much better, and that's a blessing. And like anytime we deal with an injury, especially like next up, it's like like you get worried because this is a dangerous game. But I'm grateful that I was able to play and grateful that I'm continuing to improve.
Mentally, you said physically. Mentally, how are you doing that?
Mentally, I'm great. Yeah,
You
I
describe her as
appreciate
a
it.
diehard football fan?
Who, Mariah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. Understatement. Yeah.
Chris.
Appreciate you guys.